There are those that just want to be left alone, and those that just won't leave them alone. Which one are you? The Ernest Hancock Show.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, and my good long-time friend of the family, Dean Pleasant. And he's been really keeping track on a lot of this. And what we've learned is we've seen a trend. And we've seen, just from our paying attention for the past 15 years, we could see exactly what it is they want to do. As you had a rise in awareness and of the people with the concept that they need to start taking care of their own rights and the sovereignty of their states and all this stuff that they teach you in social studies and junior high, they took it seriously. They started doing it. We started looking at the legislation being proposed. And I know a lot of the legislators, you know, personally. I talk to them every now and then. You know, I don't spend a lot of time. They just anger me. But, you know, so what I did is I go, you know, I wouldn't be surprised. Someone might show up at my birthday party tomorrow. You know, that'd be interesting. I'd be able to say nice things. Anyway, so what happens is you explain to them, you go, look, you're just being given legislation to put in without understanding the history. You're not really understanding what doors you're opening up for them to do this. Along with the Dick Act, originally was, oh, we just want a little bit kind of, within a decade, boom, now it's all federalized. And I'm going, what did you think was going to happen? So let's go ahead, Dean, tell me, by the time we're into World War II, the states was it the, you know, Texas Air Force, you know? I mean, how did you get the different branches of government and still have any kind of a state control?
Well, New York State and Texas are the most famous for maintaining still a state guard separate from the National Guard. And New York, surprisingly, who we think of as liberal today and would be all for this nationalizing of stuff, they actually were concerned that they would be left unprotected when the National Guard of New York might be sent somewhere by the president. So immediately prior to World War I and while World War I was going on, the New York State Guard stayed home and famously guarded the big aqueduct that feeds New York. It to this day remains probably the most open, inviting target if somebody wanted to get at New York citizens, and they knew that even then. And Texas, of course, like I said, they were concerned still about the revolution going on in Mexico. They were concerned about Pancho Villa coming into southern Texas and causing problems there. So the State Guard stayed behind and guarded
like
the
Rio Grande.
drug
cartels now?
Well, kind of. You know, you could draw parallels. And that gets into what some people are envisioning for the Arizona State Guard that's proposed today and proposed in other states as well. You know, there are advocates of this who are specifically looking to have a command structure that the president or Janet Napolitano can not come in and say, no, you can't do that with these people. To be able to send folks in uniform to the border.
We have the ability to have medical marijuana. We have the ability to manufacture our own firearms. Heck, I remember in the 90s, Arizona was the only state in the nation that you could manufacture Freon. Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
We just go, yeah, bite. Yeah, we'll do it. You know, and the federal government says, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't you get that? You know, let me tell you what the precedent was. It was Grant versus Lee. We win. You know, so I'm just going, that's our mentality. We're going to have to actually have some kind of break.
Personally, I think that part of this whole plan is to try and get a state guard passed, get volunteers to show up, attempt to send them to the border, only to have the feds step in and say, no, you can't do that, so that politically the governor and other people will be able to make something out of this. They could say, hey, we tried, and this is why we need to rearrange Washington, you know, whatever.
It's Obama, not Bush, Obama.
Yeah, I
Bush
personally,
did it, but Obama continued it. It's Obama. Democrat, we got to put the Republicans in there saying do it some more.
I personally don't think they're actually very serious about it. Some people behind it are serious, but the real movers who are dependent upon to make this happen, I do not think are serious.
Well, you know, that brings in, you know, it's politics. It's going to be 2012, man. I can feel it coming. I mean, they have really been hammering this. They're doing the tour along with Michelle Bachmann. Now, they're just in Southern California. Now, the chairman of the Arizona Republican Party is talking about an event with Michelle Bachmann. She's going to do her She's announcing that she's going to announce the time she'll be announcing in June or something, whatever the heck she's doing. And Sheriff Joe Arpaio, you always got to, rub elbows with Sheriff Joe Arpaio if you're going to be Republican, And this is, this is coming here, I don't know, next week. We got it up on Freedom's Phoenix. If you care, you can go there and see her put it up. But it's like the meeting with the Joes as Joe the Plumber, Joe Arpaio, all this kind of stuff. And I can see immigration is going to be a big issue. But is it as big as it was last election cycle? Is that starting to wane a little bit?
Well, this is a whole other topic, but in the shorthand on this, in my opinion, is that the whole issue of immigration was thought to be low-hanging fruit on the political tree. When I've talked to these people, I've said, listen, if you're really concerned about people coming into this country and stealing our benefits who don't really deserve them, that's like leaving a pile of sugar on your kitchen floor. If you leave it there, you're going to get ants. And you can caulk the windows and block the door, and you can do all kinds of things to keep the ants out. But if you don't get the sugar off the floor, you're still going to get ants. Well, the welfare state is the sugar in the middle of the floor. And I tell these people, why aren't you trying to eliminate the welfare state? And this whole immigration thing will work itself out.
No, it's not about, it's about being able to go on the border and play Army. It's about, we got to get them out of here, and we got a righteous cause and everything. And I know a lot of these guys, and I know you know them too.
There are some like that. That's true.
There are a lot of them like that.
But the main thrust of this immigration movement is trying to strike a blow against the welfare state. That's the average person who is involved with this, what they're thinking about. But you do have some people, though, regardless of what happened with the welfare state, just want to keep the brown people out.
No, this is my point. I don't think that those people that want to go play Army make up the majority. They make up all of the flash in the news. They're the ones that are getting the attention, good or bad. You had the left, the right, and what But it seems to me that when you change parties in the White House, I give you a good example. There was a video we just had. I think Sarah, did you put up that one Ron Paul anti-war? Where's the anti-war movement Libya thing? Yeah. Okay. So it's up there. You go to Freedom's Phoenix, and there is a video that's about where are all the anti-war guys? Yeah, here it is. Iraq versus Libya. Where are the protesters? You had the left in the streets during the Bush administration, even before we went. I remember we had more people in the streets protesting the Iraq war before we went in than were at the peak of the Vietnam War. Now we're bombing the crap out of Libya. Not a single protest. Certainly not from the left.
I think part of it, this isn't the whole answer, but part of it is so many people are beaten down by the current state of the economy, a lot of them just can't afford to care.
I'm sure that has a lot to do with it, but I saw what MoveOn.whatever did. They just infiltrated the anti-war movement and, scattered it to the winds. I saw it happen.
Well, also, it's part of human nature. Nobody likes to admit they're wrong. And all these people who supported the supposed peace candidates like Obama presented himself as being now have to admit, well, they got duped.
Well, see, the thing is that this Tea Party mentality of people being able, it's all part of this mindset of the militias, the individuals being able to defend themselves. Look, they're not doing heck. Anytime you join anything that they're doing, they send you overseas. So it's like, nah, we'll not do that. We can't defend our own borders on an international border here that we have invasions. And of course, they'll make a big deal. We got news today on Freedom's Phoenix about how come Obama didn't know that it was the federal government that was sending guns south, so they could say that we sent guns. I mean, what do you know about that issue?
I don't really know anything personally that isn't already in the wind, that isn't already public knowledge. But, if it weren't for federal agents supplying guns to criminals south of the border, they wouldn't have very many. Truth of the matter is, the kind of firepower they're after, they can't get that easily here. The legally available firepower here in the United States does not compare to what they can buy on the black market coming out of Guatemala and El Salvador.
Obama says he didn't inform Mexico of U.S. gun smuggling operation because he didn't know about it. Under fire for an operation that allowed smuggling of U.S. weapons across the nation's border with Mexico, President Obama said in an interview that neither he nor Attorney General Eric Holder authorized the controversial Operation Fast and Furious. The Mexican government has complained that it didn't know about the U.S. operation that allowed guns to illegally cross the southwestern border so they could track the weapons.
And if you look at the pictures of the seized weapons that appear every week in the media down in Mexico, in every single one of those, there's not just pistols, not just rifles. There's grenades, there's explosive devices, and those came out of government inventories, either in Mexico from crooked guys who sold them or elsewhere around the globe.
Absolutely. See,
they didn't come from a gun show in Phoenix.
Yeah, no, this is stuff that they manufacture this stuff. It's all just, please. You know, can we get a little bit of truth here? Not from them. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies here on freedomsphoenix.com, and declare your independence with me, Ernest Hancock. Thanks for Dean coming on, giving us just a little bit of history of how it is that our ability to defend ourselves and our state, as defined in many state constitutions, certainly Arizona, it's been taken by the federal government. Why? I'm sure we'll spend more time on it in the future. Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. Readers of freedomsphoenix.com are constantly provided the information that detail the real news between the lines of propaganda about government policies and the true relationship we all have with coercive governments. Learn the true condition of our economy, innovations and technological breakthroughs in energy, health, computer science, and space travel. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media, the media that is so last century. Corporate media has evolved into nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but we now have a fantastic alternative. FreedomsPhoenix.com provides constant news updates on the issues that affect our lives in the most important ways. Our liberty and our property are under constant attack, and FreedomsPhoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda while encouraging the participation of our readers. Join us at FreedomsPhoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, Phoenix.com. FreedomsPhoenix.com, where the revolution between the ears has already matured.